I'm going to be a little bit quiet because my husband is still currently kind of asleep, kind of not. I just woke him up, but he's probably gone back to sleep for the last 5-10 minutes before his alarms go off. I don't know. Just a quick trigger warning and a content warning. This video will heavily talk about like self-harm, suicide. It will show imagery of scars and just general like mental health, depression, things like that. It's not going to be anything too heavy, but there will be imagery of scars, so that's the main trigger warning there. But today I'm going to be getting my self-harm scars tattooed over. So if you didn't know, hi, I used to self-harm. I struggled with self-harm for roughly 11 years. I started when I was 11, and I did it for a few years, but not really like, they were very superficial, just like little cat scratch looking things. That didn't really leave me with any scars, and I stopped when I was about 15, 16, maybe even 17, I'm not quite sure when exactly stopped, so a couple of years. And then, I've spoken about this before, but in, what year was it? 2018, I think it was, 2017, 2018, I was sexually assaulted, I was raped, so that really got to me, and I started self-harming again, and it left me with very nasty scars. I will put up a picture of the scars in a minute, so if you are, you don't want to see it, go ahead and skip to like this time, I'll put it there. So yeah, if you are a bit squeamish, then go ahead and skip to that, because honestly I don't blame you, but also like this is not going to be the first time it is shown. So yeah, there is a picture of my current situation on my arm. It's not very pretty, but you know what, it's my skin, it's me now. It isn't the best thing that I've ever done, do you regret it? It's one of the only things in life I do regret, but at the end of the day, it's happened, I can't change it, and I'm gonna be getting them covered up. So obviously my scars are on this arm, so it's all down here. So it's gonna be a full piece. Here is the design that she's wanting to do. I basically gave her free rein and said like I just wanted to cover it up, basically, like, so yeah, that's the original design. She did say she's gonna be making some changes, like some little tweaks and kind of tidying up some things. So I'm not gonna see the actual full design until probably about 2 hours time from now. But I'm really excited. She's also integrating it with that tattoo there, so it's gonna like go around the dog, which is why there's like a little missing piece in the top. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's been, God, I think I started self-harming again 2.5 years ago, and I was doing it for nearly a year. And I've had a few relapses since I kind of stopped initially, which is normal, by the way. Sorry. It's normal. I'm now just reconsidering putting on mascara at all today. I might just leave myself completely bare skinned because I'm already getting emotional. But yeah, so I'm going to be getting that covered up. I've been clean for nearly 2 years. I think it's about 1 year and 10 months I've been clean, so fucking well on me. And yeah, I'm finally ready to get these covered up. If I couldn't get them covered up, because scar tissue is tricky, so there's one scar in particular that I don't think she's going to be able to tattoo over now, or if ever, because if you do tattoo over scar tissue, it's not the same as regular skin, so it can blow out, the colour can like bleed, and it doesn't look very crisp and clean, so the fact she's doing a lot of lines is quite tricky. So yeah, if I couldn't get them covered up, I would have been fine with that. Like, I've come to terms with my scars now. I think that's really important as well, if you are ever going to get your scars tattooed over, is to make sure that you are comfortable with them first, or as much as possible. It's okay if you don't like them, but you always need to be comfortable with the fact that sometimes you can't get them tattooed over, and that's okay. Because obviously scar tissue is so awkward to tattoo over. I just realised you can hardly even see my eyes because of my fringe right now, it's too long. So yeah, you just need to make sure that you have come to terms with them, I guess, because at the end of the day, it's still your skin. You're still going to be able to see my scars underneath this tattoo. There's not really much hiding that. You're still going to at least see the texture. Even if I got like a full colour piece, like if I just blacked out my arm, you would still see the lines of the scars. So that's always going to be there in some sort of way. But at least I can look at my arm and look at the art that's there and be happy that it looks nice, as opposed to looking at my arm and seeing my scars and being reminded of what I went through, you know. It's because I didn't almost make it, so it's a lot to be reminded of. But again, I've come to terms with that. I've been through therapy. I've spoken about this before, that I have been through therapy and stuff like that, and that helped me kind of come to terms with things. So yeah, I just thought I'd put that in there, like, you know, if you are also suffering the same thing and you want to get them tattooed over, just make sure that, you know, you've come to terms within yourself that, you know, scars are there, and there's always the small possibility that you might not be able to get what you want over it, because it's tricky, and it's not the tattooist's fault, it's not your fault either, it's just how scar tissue works. I did have to go and get a full-on consultation, so for other tattoos I can just say, this is what I'm wanting, this is where I'm wanting it, and they're like, okay, cool, I'll get that drawn up and come on this day and we'll do it. But for this one, I did have to say to them, like, look, I've got scar tissue that I want covered up, you know, this is kind of what I was originally wanting as a design. And they said, right, okay, come on in, we'll have a look at, you know, the situation, look at the area, see what we can do, and then we'll go from there. And I was like, right, okay, cool. So they booked me in for a consultation. And yeah, she basically like inspected my arm. Like I said, she said there's one scar that might be a bit tricky to cover. This was like maybe 8 months ago now, so it might have changed a little bit. Like, she might still be able to do this now, but she said that even if she can't do it right now, give it another year or so, she might be able to add to it over the scars, because they were quite big and like quite deep. Like, the bigger and the deeper they are, the more likely it is it's going to take longer for you to be able to tattoo over it, because it needs to heal more. Yeah, so I did have to go for a consultation, and that's very normal. If you have any skin issues, like skin conditions like dermatitis, something like that, or scars or pigmentation or things like that, you should really get a consultation. If you have scars or anything like that and the tattooist doesn't, let's say you need a consultation, I would go to a different artist personally, because it's a very important thing and they need to know what they're dealing with before, you know, you get there, because it's tricky. I knew what artist I wanted to go to. The artist I'm going to has done most of my tattoos. She did this one, she did this one, she did that one there, she did that one there. So like, I know who she is. She's very good at her work. And when I messaged the shop saying like, I wanted this to go over the scars, their first idea was for her as well. So yeah, I don't know if I can actually film in the shop. I will try and get some sort of like footage somewhere, taking my camera along with me anyway. But yes, I don't know how much I can film inside the shop. They don't typically like that, so I'm gonna obviously respect their rules. But yeah, I'm just gonna quickly get ready. I'm gonna put on a little bit of mascara because I'm gonna look a bit like a troll if I don't. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of that, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Let's go.
I spend most of my time viewing what I want from the outside. I comb it over like it's the scene of a crime. The only guilty I find staring back at me in the mirror at night, stuck in place, just waiting for a green light. But I can't lie awake for someone else to say I can live my life.
So I'm filming this on my phone because I feel a bit awkward backing up the camera and like obviously vlogging, because I don't do that. I have my tattoo, it's now neatly wrapped up under my sleeve. I've got some McDonald's, there it is, for the ride home. Just waiting for the bus, which should be here any second now. And yeah, I'll update you when I get home.
The only comfort I've found is blending in with another crowd. When things go wrong, we'll pass the blame around. 'Cause I can't lie awake for someone else.
Okay, so it's about I think it's 9:30. Actually, hang on. What time is it?
It's 9:47 p.m.
9:47 p.m. Yeah, it's like nearly 10 o'clock. God, it's late. I got home about 4:30, 5 o'clock-ish. I had some food and I got very tired, so I had a nap because apparently being stabbed in the arm for over 3.5 hours, it makes things pretty tiring for you. So I got home, had a nap, and I've just been taking it easy. But yeah, I'll obviously put some pictures up, but here's my tattoo. I'm in love with it. Like, genuinely in love with it. I'll put some before and after pictures up here as well. Obviously, so like you can see it in a bit better quality and stuff. But yeah, I couldn't film too much in the studio, obviously, because a lot of them don't really like photography and video stuff. So I didn't film any of it actually getting done. I took some pictures of, you know, the like stencil and things like that, and because you're allowed to do that, that's fine. But yeah, I didn't film too much in there because for obvious reasons. But yeah, I love it. I'm so in love with it. Tomorrow I'm gonna actually do a bit of a sit down and chat, maybe a little bit, because it is my husband's birthday tomorrow, so I don't know what I can and can't do, or like what we're doing, should I say. But certainly at some point I do want to sit down and talk about the process of getting it done. You know, I've already said it's like 3.5 hours, which is actually a lot quicker than I expected. I'll talk about the costs and the pain levels and things like that, or things you should consider if you're wanting to get something like this done. But yeah, just for now, I'm so mega happy with it. I think it looks amazing. I can't stop looking at it, and I keep like tearing up over it because it just makes me feel so happy. So yeah, I cried a tiny bit in the studio. So like, not from the pain either. Like I just started thinking about how much this is gonna change the way I look at my skin, and like I had a few like stray tears. So I think she thought I was maybe crying at the pain, but I wasn't. I was crying because of the emotional side of all this. But yeah, she was really lovely, really attentive. She always is whenever I go to her. She's done the majority of my tattoos now. And yeah, I'm just very, very grateful. So thank you to Cherry Pie and to Lynn for this amazing tattoo. I really like can't get over how lovely it looks. So yeah, I'll talk to you a bit more tomorrow as to like, well, tomorrow or the next day, I don't know, as to like more details of the tattoo and things like that. So yeah, see you in a bit. Right, it's been a couple of days now. I was gonna film this the day that I got home from my tattoo, or even the next day, but I fell asleep when I got home, and the next day was my husband's birthday, and we were busy during the day, and then he streamed at night, and I didn't have time. And then on Wednesday I streamed, so it's now the Thursday. I had the tattoo done on Monday, and this is it so far. Obviously I would have already put pictures in of what it looks like, but this is it on my arm. I absolutely love it, and I do want to get more added on around here eventually. Like I might make this like almost a full sleeve, so get some more going along around here, and then some more kind of going along around here as well, just to kind of like add it all in. I think that'll look really, really nice. Yes, it's been a couple of days. I just want to talk about a few things with this tattoo and talk a little bit about aftercare. I'm not going to go too far into aftercare though, because of the fact that every tattoo artist says something different for aftercare, so you should really follow their advice. Although, you know, you should, if you follow their advice, then that's great. Or if you've been to a tattoo artist before and you follow their aftercare, I'd maybe say that's okay, but typically you should always follow your tattoo artist's advice. And if you ever have any questions or issues, you always speak to them. So I'm not going to go too far into aftercare, but I will talk briefly about what I'm using for aftercare, and then yeah, just try to help you guys with that. But yeah, so the tattoo, let's talk about this. So obviously I got it done on scar tissue, so I had a lot of self-harm scars on my arm. You've obviously seen the before picture already. I've already put it in at some point during this video. So there weren't just like one or two. My full forearm was completely littered with these scars. And I've heard a lot of people say that scar tissue is very painful to tattoo over. And then some people say it's not, because it depends on how bad the scar was, like how bad the cut was originally, and like it could affect your nerves and things like that. So I've heard some people say it hurts a lot, and then some people said that some scars you don't really feel anything. So I was a little bit kind of mixed, because the only really bad scars were kind of on the side of my arm, like here, like this area, and then I had a few kind of here. So the rest of them were not really too bad, honestly. They were still obviously bad, but they weren't like the worst ones. So I was really worried that it was going to hurt a lot. She started at my wrist because she starts from the bottom and works her way up, and then when she did the detail she went from the top all the way down again. So she started from my wrist, which was quite uncomfortable because it's obviously like kind of tendons, veins and things like that around here. So that was like a bit uncomfortable, but I knew that from getting this one done is not the best feeling in the world. It's a tattoo at the end of the day, it's never going to be completely painless. So yeah, she started there and that was okay. It wasn't the worst, it was okay. And then honestly, like kind of, it's going to be really hard to show you, but kind of from here all the way down and like around kind of up here, the whole center portion was actually pretty like okay. The most painful parts were in the crease of my elbow, because you can kind of see that it does go slightly in the crease at the crease of my elbow, and then kind of the sides were really painful because the further up and round you go it changes. Obviously down here is more sensitive, up here is just a bit more like firm, it's like not as fun. So it wasn't actually that painful. Adding some details in was quite painful, but other than that I didn't actually feel a lot of the tattoo, which was actually a blessing, because I was so worried that it was going to be really bad, like unbearably bad. But I kept telling myself that it can't hurt more than when I did it in the first place, when I got the scars. So it didn't, luckily. It didn't hurt that bad, because if I felt that pain all over again it would have been really bad. I will quickly put a note in there though that when she was doing the details, obviously she started from here, worked her way all the way down to the bottom, all the way to the top, and then did the details back down. By the time she got back down to here again, the tattoo took up just under 4 hours. By the time she got back down to here, this hadn't been touched for about 3.5 hours, so this was really painful for her to go back over with. And there were a few lines in here that, there weren't many lines that were really painful. Some of them kind of sucked a bit, but they weren't really bad. There were a few lines towards the end where it actually felt like she was cutting me, so that kind of was a bit triggering in my mind, because I was like, this feels like I'm doing it to myself again. So please bear in mind, if you do get tattoo over scars, especially self-harm scars, that there might be feelings like that. There might be feelings as if they're cutting you, and that can be quite triggering. So make sure that you communicate with your artist if it gets too much. If you can just, they're more than happy for you to ask them to stop if you're, you know, uncomfortable, or if you want to take a breather. Like she kept reminding me, like, it's okay if you want to take a break, how you're holding up, and you know, just reassuring that it's okay if I need to stop, it's fine. So if you do feel something like that and you do kind of struggle with that sensation, just say, oh, hang on, that really hurt, can I just have a minute to compose myself for a minute and then get back to it. Or sometimes if the major line work's done, you can always just ask to come back later. You know, there's so many things. I have a tattoo on my ribs and that was really sore. She did the lines and then I went back. Like, I've got to book an appointment to go back. I haven't done that yet because it's really sore. But like, you can split up your appointments and they usually don't mind that at all, as long as I have the basic line work down. So yeah, just a quick note that you're tattooing over scars in an area that you used to be like affiliating with pain. You would go there to feel pain. So there will be pain getting the tattoo, and that can be triggering. So please bear that in mind. Take a stress toy with you, take a comfort item with you, whether that's like a blanket, a teddy bear, like anything that brings you comfort, take that with you. I would recommend that, because at the moment in COVID times, I don't know about you in your area, but we certainly can't have anyone else in the studio with us. We can only be in there on our own, one person per artist sort of thing. So I didn't have anyone there to hold my hand or to, like, you know, talk to me or, you know, try to take my mind off it. So definitely take an item with you. If you think you're going to struggle with that, I would definitely recommend that. If you have a comfort item, go ahead and take it. For me personally, I actually found a lot of it very, like, very freeing. I actually did, I think I said this before, or in my vlog, I can't remember, but I actually did tear up a few times when she was doing the tattoo, because I'm probably going to tear up now. I'm wearing a lot of eyeliner and makeup today, I shouldn't really tear up, but when she was going through it, and like, obviously I could feel the pain and whatever, and I like to look at what I'm doing, like at what they're doing, so I couldn't really see too much. It was only until she got to about here on my arm that I could actually see what she was doing, because obviously the natural curve of your arm and all things like that. But when she was doing it, I was looking at the design, and like on my arm, like I was looking at the stencil, I was looking at the design she had on the paper, and I was looking at all these details and thinking how beautiful they are, and I kind of got a bit emotional, and like I teared up a little bit. I didn't like full on cry, that would have been a bit embarrassing, you know, but I did tear up a few times because it was a very emotional process. I mean, you saw me at the start of this video kind of crying, just talking about getting it done, and like I'm feeling like I'm tearing up again. You won't be able to tell, but I can feel like the beginnings of it. It was definitely a very emotional time, and I don't regret it though. Like it feels freeing. Actually, she put the butterfly in there because of like regrowth. You know, butterflies start off as caterpillars, they go for the transformation, and then they're the butterfly. And she kind of put that in there to like moving on, you know, regrowth. You're changing. She put that in there specifically for that, and I love that idea because I never thought of it. I have got a butterfly here, but even then I never really thought of it that way. So yeah, it was a very emotional process, very long process. But she was very, very attentive, like so caring, and yeah, I couldn't fault the artist or the shop any, like, at all, like, I couldn't. So yeah, that was that. As I said, it was about 3.5 hours. It wasn't too bad actually. The pain wasn't that bad afterwards either. She wrapped it up obviously, and as soon as I left the shop, I didn't really feel it. Honestly, it felt fine. It didn't really knock against anything. Like, I can touch it now, like obviously does the clean hands, but I can touch this now, and it's not sore. Because it's been a few days, especially the butterfly has got very scabby, so the butterfly is quite itchy. And like some of the lines around the mandala are quite itchy too, but honestly the rest of it feels pretty fine. Just a tad bit itchy now, but that happens because it's scabbing over, it's going to be a bit irritating. And also for aftercare, so I like to get the stuff that the studio themselves are selling. They used to sell something called El Gato Negro, and it's like this vegan, like kind of oily balm sort of thing, like you warm it up and you put it on. They used to do that, which I actually loved, but they since changed. They have like a few different ones. They have one called Your Ma's, like it's a Scottish thing, so like your mum, but it's Yen Ma, or Yen More, however they want to say it. But yeah, they had that, or they had like a tattoo putty thing, or they had something else as well, but I can't remember. So I bought the Yen Ma one because it was like closest to El Gato. It's like a balm, and it kind of like melts with your fingers and you rub it on. I didn't like the smell of it, and I didn't like the consistency of it, so I did actually end up buying some more El Gato Negro, so this is just what that looks like. It's actually really cute, like, it is completely vegan, so let me show you the back of it as well, so you can read that if you want to. But yeah, it's completely vegan, it's like all natural products, like butters and things like that. It just looks, obviously I've used this so it's not gonna look that great, but it just looks like a balm, and all you do is you swirl your finger around, it melts a little bit, and you put it on. You don't need a lot of this at all, because obviously it melts. Because it takes a while for it to warm up though, I do like to just scoop a little bit out on my nail or on my finger and just kind of like lightly run it up so it melts a bit and then rub it in. But this smells really good. It smells like chocolate and coconut. It smells so good. But yeah, I love this stuff. I find it really moisturizes my tattoos whenever I use this. And this one tub would do a full back piece healing. So like obviously you know how big your back is. A full tattoo, like a full back tattoo, and it takes like I think it's 4 weeks worth of like healing time. That would cover this. So this is a 50-gram tub, and this would last a long time. So I won't need to buy any more of this until it goes out. It goes out in 2023, so I've got a lot. But that's just what I like to use. Some tattoo artists do recommend like things like Bepanthen, Savlon. Some tattoo artists don't. My tattoo artist doesn't recommend Savlon or Bepanthen. If you have to use any of them, she'd recommend Savlon because it's a bit thinner. But she doesn't recommend Bepanthen because it's a bit thick in her opinion, and it can like, I don't know, it doesn't like let the tattoo breathe as much. So I kind of followed their recommendation with the El Gato Negro when I first started getting my tattoos, and I'm sticking with that. And also I find that it moisturizes a lot more, the Bepanthen especially, when I had to use that at one point in my last tattoo because I ran out of my El Gato, and it didn't feel like it moisturized at all. I felt like I had to use more because I didn't feel like it was moisturizing my skin. So I just prefer to use this. But obviously it's your personal preference, you can try and see what you prefer, but again also use your tattooer's advice before changing your aftercare. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't going to go too far into aftercare because it is such a personal thing to everyone, just what I prefer to use. But yeah, I got my self-harm scars tattooed over, essentially. If you guys have any questions about the process or my thoughts or anything at all like that, feel free to let me know, because honestly, like, there's probably so many things I'm missing out in this video that I haven't already said. I did have like a plan on my mind as to what I wanted to talk about, but I've kind of forgotten it, and of course I didn't write it down because it's me, I'm a fucking mess sometimes. But yeah, yeah, it was definitely an emotional process, and I'm very glad I did it, and I can't wait for this to heal up and just look even more stunning, and I can't wait to add to it because I definitely want to add things this side, and at least this side, like, I would love to add to it more, but my tattoo artist was amazing. She really blew it out of the park, and my biggest scar is like right here, so where my finger is. It starts from here and it goes right the way around to there, she tattooed over that when she said she might not have been able to, and she did. Like, there's only a tiny bit of it hanging out, but you can't even see it really. And like, that was the scar that I hated the most, because that was the scar that I took it too far that time, and that was the scar that I hated the most. So the fact she covered that and made it look really pretty by putting flower petals and stuff over it, it just really, it means a lot to me. Obviously you can still see the scars through it. It's like if I go kind of full, like closer up, you can still see the bumps of the scars and like the faint white lines and stuff. Those are never going to go away, even if like I keep saying at the beginning of the video, even if you cover it in like a block colour, you're still going to see the texture, but these will continue to fade. They'll blend with my skin a bit more as I get older and things like that. And at the end of the day, when you look at this now, you don't see the white lines, you see the drawing, you see the flowers, the mandala, the butterfly, you see all of that stuff now. You don't see what was there before, and that just means a lot more to me, I think. And yeah, just, it feels great. It does feel great. Like, I came to terms with my scars, but it still feels amazing to have them out of my life. I said this on Instagram, I will probably miss them a little bit, because as I said, I came to terms with them, so I didn't mind that they were there, and I'm probably gonna miss them, but I would rather miss them than see them every day. Does that make sense? It's for the best. Sometimes you need to miss things, you need to get things out of your life. And yeah, I just can't wait to move on, and yeah. So again, for the last time, if you have any questions at all about this whole process, about, you know, how I feel about it or how certain things went, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm completely happy to answer any questions that you may ask about this whole process, or even just about self-harming in general, things like that. If you are struggling with self-harm, depression, suicide, anxiety, things like that, I will link some resources down below for you. You know, I believe that things can always get better for everyone, and for me, you know, I went through the professional help side, so I can't recommend that enough, but obviously for everyone it's different, so there will be some resources down below for you if you need them. I really encourage you to reach out, and also if you do need to speak to me or speak to anyone, you can speak to me. I have my Instagram and my Twitter and stuff linked down below, so if you do need someone to message, I'm there for you as well. Just say hi, came for a new video, and I would like to talk to someone right now, or I really need to talk to someone, or anything like that, and I'll be there for you when I can be. So yeah, thank you guys for coming along with me with this journey. It feels so good. It feels so fucking good. But that will be all for me today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.